What's up? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. In today's video we are making over my 3-year-old niece's bedroom, which we are in right now. My sister recently redid the floors in here. She pulled up the old carpet and replaced all of the hardwoods, and once she was done with that I told her she might as well let me go ahead and redecorate the entire room. We are actually starting on day 2 of this makeover. I took the liberty of doing the boring part off camera and painted the entire room yesterday, so we now have the color Pumice by Bear on the walls, which is a really good mid-toned gray color, and it goes very well with the wallpaper that I am going to put up. Speaking of wallpaper, that is the first thing on the to-do list for today. Hang up the wallpaper on the accent wall and paint out the trim. I actually want to paint whatever else needs to be painted in the room today and get it over with so that all the painting can be done and things can get moved around without worrying about having wet paint on the walls. The wallpaper is from Target. It has some very bright, vibrant colors in it, which my niece loves, so I knew it would be perfect for her room. And I ended up using 3 rolls in total. You'll see that the laser level is set a little further in from the corner of the wall, and that is actually because since the house is older, none of the corners or any of the walls are actually perfectly straight. So I had the vertical line of the laser level pretty much the same width as the wallpaper, or a little bit shorter, just so that the first panel that I put up is completely straight on a straight line, and then I can go back and put the corner panel up and just trim off whatever excess ends up in the corner. Wallpapering is all done, and I think that is it for me today. Here we are on day 2, and I put the bed back on the accent wall because that was in the original plan, which I can pop up a picture of the very rough draft that I put together in Photoshop. But yeah, so beginning of day 2, we put the bed in place, but it wasn't really working out, so that ends up changing in the end. Also, I picked up these wall hooks from Urban Outfitters. As you can see, they're lime green, and there's no lime green in the room at all, so I just ended up spray painting them in a dark gray color that my sister already had in the garage, so that worked out really well. So I just took these outside to spray paint while I moved on to another project. Here is the next project. I picked up these wood letters from Lowe's, and they're just plain unfinished wood, but I knew I wanted to have the half and half look where half of it is wood and the other half is painted white. So I measured halfway down each letter, marked it off with a pencil, and put some painter's tape at that line, and then painted them white. While the wood letters were drying, I moved on to hanging the bookshelves in this little corner over here that is cornered off by the closet. So I picked these bookshelves up from Target. They're actually from the dollar spot at Target. And I actually ordered them online because apparently if you search Bullseye Playgrounds on Target's website, it'll show you all of the Target dollar spot items that they have available online. So to hang these bookshelves, I used my favorite hack ever, where you level a piece of painter's tape over the hanging mechanism on whatever it is that you're hanging. So for this, it's those notched out holes. So I leveled the painter's tape over those holes. You trace out the hanging piece, so I traced out the holes on the bookshelves, and then I level the tape onto the wall and screw through the holes that you made in the tape, and you have a perfectly leveled shelf, mirror, whatever it is that you're hanging. So that was perfect because I was going to make bookshelves or book ledges out of some scrap wood my sister had in her garage, but I didn't have to because I found these for $5 each at Target, and you really can't beat that price. And I feel like when it comes to DIYing, if it's cheaper to buy the item than it is to make it yourself, it's not worth the DIY. After the shelves were up, I checked on the letters and those were dry, so I just peeled the painter's tape off of them and didn't hang those up yet because at this point I'm still not sure which wall the bed is going to be on. So I decided to move on to hanging up the new curtains that I got from Bed Bath & Beyond. The color of these curtains matched the wallpaper to a T, so they were perfect for in here. And when the sun is shining and it's a really bright sunny day outside and the curtains are closed, it's kind of a pink light special in the room, which I think is really cute. So here we are on day 3, and this little corner of the room is going to be my niece's little book nook or reading corner. So I got this rug from Urban Outfitters also. It also tied in all of the colors in the room really well. The pink in the curtain, the brown in the floors. I thought it was just really cute and great for her room. In all honesty, I feel like Urban Outfitters has a ton of stuff that is perfect for kids or preteen and not really just for adults. So I put down the rug for the book nook, and then I put back a chair that she already had. It just wasn't in the before clip that I filmed. Her dad got this for her for Christmas one year, and it's such a cute little egg chair for kids. I don't know where it's from, but if I find out, I will definitely link it in the description box below because it is so cute and it just makes her look like a big girl when she's sitting in it. Once the chair was in place, I put some of her favorite books on the bookshelves, and the room is just really starting to come together at this point. So moving on to this little elephant frame that I knew I was going to hang above my niece's bed. My sister bought this little stuffed elephant head for my niece when she was a baby, and I don't think she ever actually hung it up in any of her rooms that she's had, so I knew I wanted to use it in her room now. I've seen all over Pinterest where people use these heads and put a frame around them like they're a real taxidermied animal head hanging on a wall. So I knew I wanted to do that, and My sister has a bunch of old home decor that she wasn't using in her garage, and when I saw this mirror I knew it would be the perfect frame for the elephant, so I took that. It's a little beat up, so I knew I needed to spray paint it. I took it apart and took the frame outside to spray paint, and once I saw the mirror on the inside was in the shape of a circle, I knew immediately that that was going to be another DIY that I was going to do. So for the mirror, this is another DIY that I saw all over Pinterest and knew I wanted to do in here, but I didn't know if I would actually get to because I didn't have a circle mirror to utilize for this DIY, and I really wanted to try to use a bunch of stuff that we already had and not buy new things that were unnecessary. So once I took the frame off of this mirror and saw that the mirror on the inside was in the shape of a circle, I figured this was perfect. So I just created some tassels out of some jute cord, and I created enough to cover the entire mirror, and I laid them all out and glued them down with some hot glue. I then decided to comb out the fringe on the tassels to fill up the gaps a little bit more. Once that was done, I trimmed the ends so that they were all a similar length. After all the tassels were glued down, I actually decided to take the original backing of the mirror and glue that on top of the tassels just to serve as a brace for the tassels to sit up against and to keep them from like falling down or like wilting. I also cut a hole in the back to be able to hang it up on a command hook and not have to worry about the hooks on the back that I now removed because I would use them for the frame with the elephant. So once I was done with the tassel mirror, it was time to put the wood letters up on the wall, and I decided to put the bed on a different wall than the accent wall with the wallpaper. So now I'm just centering the L, which is the middle letter in my niece's name, on the wall and drawing out an arch so that I can curve the letters on the wall. All I did to create the arch was I tied a pencil to the end of a piece of string that met the bottom of that L in the center, and then I taped it just above the top of her bed to create the longest distance possible, and continue to trace from the center over to the right and from the center over to the left. To the windows, I also added a second pair of curtains. They actually have a matching ikat print to the wallpaper. You just can't see it on camera. I'll try to get a close-up so that it shows a little bit better, but they were very wrinkled, so I just decided to steam them and steam the pink ones, which were less wrinkled but still had some creases in them from being in the package. So that is the end of day 3 and the end of this video. To see the final reveal, definitely check out part 2 of this video, and we will put the finishing touches together.